The Pittsburgh Steelers have failed star safety Minkah Fitzpatrick, says defense coordinator Terrell Austin. So, Minkah Fitzpatrick, his natural role is playing that deep safety, roaming the field as a free safety. But last season for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they pushed Minkah to play more in the box and slot, and prompted him to work more as a blitzer in an unnatural role. This led to him getting more injuries and also led to him having career low numbers last season. So, before I get more into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also, like the video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, Minkah Fitzpatrick, he got here to the Pittsburgh Steelers via trade in 2019. And since then, he manned a role in this Pittsburgh Steelers defense that led to Fitzpatrick making splash plays after splash plays, leading the league in interceptions some years, and just making plays all over the field by picking off the quarterback. But last season, his role changed on this team, and he played more in the box, he played more in the slot, he played more in a role that had him not roam the field and not do what he does best. And that led to offenses no longer having to worry about where Fitzpatrick would be lurking, and they could throw wherever they want. And now, defense coordinator Teryl Austin reflected on last season and reflected on Minkah Fitzpatrick's role and how he got taken away from his natural position, which often led to him getting injured last season multiple times, having to be taken out of the game due to injury or missing games because of injury. That led to defense coordinator Teryl Austin reflecting on the tape and him believing that he failed Minkah Fitzpatrick last season on this defense. Here's what Teryl Austin had to say in his latest media interview about Minkah Fitzpatrick and his role. Our job is to try to get all of our guys in the best position as possible so they can play as well as they can and play up to their abilities. And so last year, I probably failed in that regard. We tried to have him do too much stuff, and I think I'm going to get back to really what makes him special. End quote. Now, looking at what Minkah Fitzpatrick had to say based on this topic last week, he said this, talking about himself. Just let me play ball. That's it. Minkah ball. As many great players as you could get on the field is going to help Minkah play Minkah ball. So, end quote. Now, going back to another Teryl Austin quote from his latest media interview, he basically reiterated the same thing that Minkah just said. Here's his quote. To get him back to playing Minkah ball, as he would say, Minkah is at his best when he's playing back a bit deeper, seeing things, and able to go back and react because he sees the game really fast. And so, my job is to keep him back there as much as possible, and to keep him out of situations where he's blitzing and doing that stuff. It's not that he can't, but he's better doing the other things. That's where the additions come in. You have other guys that are ready to handle some of those things that you know he picked up last year. So we'll have other guys do those things and get back to where he is exceptional. End quote. So, obviously, Minkah Fitzpatrick, he feels as though his role was not good last season, and Teryl Austin admits that he probably failed Minkah Fitzpatrick in his role as well last season. So overall, the Pittsburgh Steelers last season has failed Minkah Fitzpatrick, and it was pretty obvious too, because you look at Minkah Fitzpatrick, he had a career low 64 tackles. Even though injuries happened, he missed games, career low. He also had 0 interceptions last season after coming off a season in which he led the league in interceptions. So obviously his role had to have changed because those numbers were really bad and he just did not look the same. And also he was failed because being put in those situations as a free safety, someone who's not really a built tackler, someone who's going to come in and tackle every single play. Yes, he led the team in tackles years ago, but that's because of his role that he's been playing. He's not meant to just be tackling after tackling like a Terrell Edmonds, who is known for tackling. So you look at Minkah Fitzpatrick, he was put more in those situations where he was in the box, playing more towards the defensive line and attacking downfield instead of roaming the field. So he was put in situations in which he could get injured more because there's more physicality instead of roaming the field. So he was put in those situations and he did get injured more. He missed a lot of time last season and he was just not himself in general. Also, you look at Minkah Fitzpatrick from other seasons, like I said, he led the league in interceptions. He led the team in tackles, and that was in his natural position role in free safety from 2 years ago. So he could make tackles, but he did it well out of his natural position, and he also led the league in interceptions out of his natural position. So he could help this team in multiple areas as long as he's making it through his natural position, roaming the field. You would rather have Minkah Fitzpatrick roam the field than use him against tight ends, use him in the slot, use him more in coverage. You would rather him be roaming the field and getting those interceptions because it has defenses, I mean, it has offenses, and it has quarterbacks thinking twice of where Minkah is at. And when you have to think, is Minkah Fitzpatrick going to jump this pass? Then it allows more things to open up for the defense in terms of schematics of things. And it also has you worrying about TJ Watt off the outside. And when you have to worry about TJ Watt off the outside, worry about Cameron Heyward off the inside, worry about Alex Highsmith off the inside, and then you have to worry about where Minkah Fitzpatrick's at, it really helps a defense do things differently and helps a defense make plays. But when you take one of those things away, it allows the offense to be better. And that's what the Steelers basically did. They took Minkah Fitzpatrick away and allowed offenses to be better because of it. So, one of the reasons why Minkah Fitzpatrick was playing in all these different type of roles is because the Steelers really lacked depth last season, lacked starters at some positions. For example, the slot cornerback role. The reason why Minkah Fitzpatrick had to come up and step up in that position sometimes is because they really didn't have a slot cornerback, a starter there. And once again, this season, they just signed one in Cameron Sutton, someone who was one of the best in the league at the slot position in his time in Pittsburgh a few years ago. So now getting a slot that allows Minkah Fitzpatrick not to have to play the slot. And also not having a strong safety because Keanu Neal got injured early on and also DeMonte Casey got injured on, had to have Minkah Fitzpatrick play more in their type of role, which is playing in the box. So now Minkah Fitzpatrick having Deshaun Elliott, someone who's been a box safety, someone who's been a strong safety in this league for many years, a veteran. It will allow Minkah Fitzpatrick not to have to play that type of role. Having linebackers be healthy, because the Steelers had a full list of injuries last season at the inside linebacker position in terms of Cole Holcomb and everyone like that, everyone getting injured. Now having Patrick Queen and having 4 to 5 inside linebackers and having depth at that position allows Minkah Fitzpatrick not to have to come up and play it, even if there is an injury there. So it allows Minkah Fitzpatrick just to not have to play out of his unnatural position. And like Minkah Fitzpatrick said, as long as he put great players on the field, it allows Minkah Fitzpatrick to play Minkah ball. And Teryl Austin, he reiterated the same thing. He said it, he heard Minkah's interview, he heard what Minkah wants to do, he knows stuff needs to change in terms of Minkah's role on this team moving forward and get him back to playing his natural position, and that's what it seems as though Terrell Austin is doing. He said it himself. He said Minkah Fitzpatrick needs to be back to playing Minkah ball, that he failed him. So now let's see his role this season and if it actually does change, or is it just all talk. In one quick year, Minkah Fitzpatrick went from being kind of ranked as a top 2, top 1 safety in the entire NFL to now being put in lists where he's out of the top 5 and be ranked very low on all the defensive lists in terms of great players on the defense side of the field. See how 1 year changes everything and everyone kind of forgets about you? Well, he's here to make a statement once again, back to putting himself as a top safety. Injuries and role changed his outlook from last season, but getting back to it should put him back at the number 1 safety and the best, highest paid safety in the NFL back a few years ago. So, Minkah Fitzpatrick, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're looking to have a great season on defense, and Minkah Fitzpatrick could really help that, especially if his role is back to being roaming the field and leading the league in interceptions once again, instead of making those tackles and playing a natural role in which he isn't used to doing. And the Pittsburgh Steelers so far last season, they failed Minkah Fitzpatrick, but they saved Minkah Fitzpatrick from 2019 to 2022. So they saved him, they failed him, and now hopefully they save him once again in his role. But with that being said, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below about this topic and Teryl Austin saying that Steelers failed him and he failed them individually last season. Do you believe that they did? And do you believe Minkah Fitzpatrick should keep playing all those roles on the defense? Or do you think he should get back to playing what he does best and what he wants to do and roaming the field as a deep safety, free safety? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also, like the video. I go through everything like analysis right here on roles of players and just news and updates in general, breaking news, film reactions, highlights, everything like that. I cover all. I'll continue to cover all. Mandatory mini camp is here. Soon will be training camp. We'll cover all of training camp as well. So if you like listening to Pittsburgh Steelers news, not reading it, this is a spot for you. So subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.